Siman Gimel Sa'if Beis Shmuel Sif Cotton Zayin. The Mechaber had brought down the case that if a person testifies about somebody else that is a Kohen is believed, even if the person offering the testimony is the person's father, and although we normally have a Gzeirus HaKosov, which says that no matter how trustworthy a person is, even if it's Aaron and Moshe Rabbeinu, if they're related, if they kroivim, then we don't accept their testimony. In this case of a father testifying about the status of his son being a Kohen, we do accept the father's testimony. Says the base Shmuel, Vafilu Aviv, even if the person giving the testimony is the father, we accept that testimony. Hatam Avur B'Shas. This is, the reason is explained in the Gemara in Ksubas Daf Chaf Hey Amid Beis, where the Gemara says the Neman B'Migoy, the person is believed with a Migoy, Dahar Biyadahu Lachilu Truma. Since everybody is giving the father Truma, he has the ability to assign Truma to his son without having to declare that his son is a Kohen, and therefore the father is believed to also say that his son is a Kohen, because based on the strength of the Migoy, why would he introduce that extra fact if it wasn't true? It doesn't benefit him in any way. And that's why the case of a father giving testimony for his son is an exception to the rule of a relative, a Karev, giving testimony to his son. Varambam, and the Rambam, Sviralei, Afilim Yududuhu Aviv. The Rambam maintains that even if we know independently that this person is the father, we still accept his testimony, and we don't say that he's a Karev and therefore shouldn't be believed. The place where the Rambam seems to imply this is Hilchas Isura Bia Perek Chaf, Halacha Yud, where the Rambam says, V'chein kol kohen she'omer. Similarly, any kohen who says, B'ni zeh kohen, my son is a kohen, ne'emer lachilu b'sruma, is his word, the father's testimony is accepted with regard to feeding his son truma. And there you see the Rambam says, B'ni zeh, my son. He doesn't say, this is my son, which would be a testimony which is similar to the Migoy in the Gemara, but he says, B'ni zeh, as if it's known and accepted and understood that this person is his son. And he said, and the father adds, and he's also a Kohen, and based on that strength, we can feed the son truma and give him the first aliyah and so on. Mikol makom ne'eman, so even though we know that the person is the son, we know he's a Karev, he's still believed, says the Beis Shmuel, v'chein mashma v'toisvus perek beis de Ksuvas. Also, Toisvus and Daf Chaf Hey Amid Beis in Ksuvas also seems to imply the same thing. Toisvus there has a diuk in the Gemara. The Gemara there says that the father says, B'ni zeh ukohen. This is my son and he's a kohen. And from there Toisvus explains that there's actually two independent pieces of testimony that the father is giving. One, that this is his son, and two, that his son is a kohen. So they're two independent types of testimony. Says so then Toisvus asks a question, that he has the father potentially has a different migoy, and that migoy is that he could say that the person, he didn't have to give the first testimony that the person is his son. However, Tosfos, and we don't have to enter into the whole concept of biyad elachila truma. All we do is we say that it's biyad to not say that he's his son, and that would be the migoy. But Tosfos concludes, no, that can't be the case, because once a person has said that this is his son, then based on that testimony, we accept that the person is his Karev. He would be pasal le'edus, therefore, as a father would be pasal, a Karev is pasal to give edus on his child, on his relative, and the father would and since the father would be pasal to give edus to his son, we have to then fall back on the other migo biyadei lachilei truma. So from that Tosfos, it's mashma that once the father has said that this is his son, we accept that as an absolute fact, and we see that we still accept the migui, and therefore the father's testimony that his son is indeed his son. So from this we can conclude that Tosfos also says that if we have absolute evidence, or it's a known fact, that the person is the father of this child, that does not puzzle him to give eidos that his son is a kohen based on the migoi of lachiloi truma, biyada lachiloi truma. That's the Rambam and the Tosfos. So they hold that even if we know independently that the father is a kohen, we accept his testimony. The Ramban argues, the Hu Aviv, and says that in the case where we know that the person is a father, then Eino Neman, then he is a Karov, and he's Pasal Le'edos, V'ayin B'magid. V'aviv Neman L'truma Bizman Hazeh, and in the same way that the father is believed to testify about his son for Truma in these times, Hu Adin L'shar Dvarim, so too with Nasias Kapayim and calling a person to the Torah first, Kol Masheidecha Neman Aviv. In all categories where we accept the testimony of a single aid testifying about a kohen, then we accept that even if that single aid is the kohen's father. Ule Yuchsin Eino Neman. But of course, when it comes to Yuchsin, then the father is not believed. And when this son comes to marry, we still have to be choishish that maybe he's a mamzer. He doesn't have a cheskes kashrus. V'eid echad, and the one witness is who was believed to give testimony when it came to things like eating truma and asiyas kapayim. Gam kein eino neman, in this case of Yuchsin, is not believed. K'moisha kosa betur siman beis b'shem Ramah, as the Tur says in siman beis, in the name of the Ramah. Afal gav de kaimelan kol davar she'ena b'cheskes kashus v'le b'cheskes isur ne'aman eid echad. Even though we normally have a klal by Isurin, when there's no chazaka of kashrus or isur, so it's kind of in a neutral zone, then a single aid is valid to say that it's kosher. K'moshe kosa b'yoredeya siman kufchav zayin. Gam kaimelan safek mamzer midiraisa kosher. We also know that a safek mamzer, if we have a doubt if a person's a mamzer or not, that is kosher lava bekal, he is allowed to marry into the congregation. So we have normally, in a normal case of isur, one aid is believed. In a case of safek mamzerus, we allow the person to come into the kohol. So how come we're strict here and we don't accept the father's testimony or even that of a non-karov about the yuchsin of a person? Tzarech liyas mipnei mailus yuchsin, because of the special status, the special strictness that Chazal gave to yuchsin bichlal. Ein neman. For this reason, we do not accept the testimony of a single aid, even though there's svaras to say that we should. And this would also be this is also clear from the diuk of the lashon of the Rameh, that he would maintain that an eid echad is not believed because the person is because of the special milah that the Chachamim did by Yuchsin. The kohen shenasa grusha va'im de'eino kohen. A kohen is married to a grusha and he self-declares that he's not a kohen, even though we have a chazaka that he is a kohen, then eino neman, he cannot be believed because he has a reason to lie. V'koifin legarish isa, and the Beis Din forces him to divorce the wife, even b'di'eved. V'ayin b'levush, see in the levush.